My basic argument is that under
Yes.
what power can you convert a legislative assembly into a constituent assembly?
As a matter of fact, Praja Sabha was turned into a constituent assembly, 1951.
इस वीडियो में आप देखेंगे कि सीनियर एडवोकेट कपिल सिबल ने अपने आर्ग्यूमेंट्स रखे कि जिस प्रकार से कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट असेंबली के बिना पार्लियामेंट ने आर्टिकल 370 को हटाया, उसको नहीं हटाया जा सकता था। उसके साथ साथ उन्होंने बताया कि परमानेंट स्टेटस इसका है, इसको हटाया नहीं जा सकता है। कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट अमेंडमेंट जिस प्रकार से उन्होंने की, ऐसे नहीं की जा सकती इस केस में। और प्रजा सभा का क्वेश्चन यहाँ पर राइज हुआ, उस केस पर भी उन्होंने इस पर देखा कि प्रजा सभा अपॉइंट हुई थी, वो सब भी इस केस में इस वीडियो में आप देखेंगे।
Legislative Assembly also can't touch below the provisions that the state of Jammu and Kashmir and shall be an integral part of India. Section 3. It also can't touch extent of executive and legislative power of the state. Can't touch that. It can't touch 370. So from the point of view of the Constituent Assembly, when the legislation was drafted and the Constitution was drafted, it was clear that this relationship is permanent.
Just one question. The proviso to Article 147 of the J&K Constitution says that no bill or amendment seeking to make change in the provisions of the Constitution of India is applicable
Yes.
in relation to a state.
Yes.
Means a change in the Constitution of India. Whereas, as per clause 3 of Article 370, it's not the amendment which is applicable. As per that, it's the consent or the consultation or the
Recommendation. Neither consent nor consent. It's a recommendation.
no.
Of the legislature.
Let's see
Of the Constituent
373.
Assembly.
Let's see 373 for
Yes,
a minute.
please.
So really speaking, under 147 may have no application as far as, because you're not seeking to amend 370 but enforce 370. Let's assume, for the time being, substitute the words Constituent Assembly for Legislative Assembly. On the recommendation,
Yeah.
let's assume so. Let's substitute. You're right,
Correct.
recommendation.
Correct.
Let's substitute that word, provided that the recommendation of the Legislative Assembly for the state referred to shall be necessary before the President issues such notification.
Yeah.
So really, 147 will not be applicable in case the state legislature makes that recommendation.
No, but let's kindly see what 147 says is the provisions of the Constitution
But
of India
you're not
as
amending
applicable in the relation to the state.
You're not amending the Constitution. You're not amending this Constitution of India. For the time being, let's read as it is, because what is barred under the proviso to 147 is amendment seeking to make a change in the provisions of the Constitution of India.
As applicable in relation to the
As applicable in relation to the
which is
state.
why 370 is incorporated, Malad, in the Constitution of Jammu and Kashmir. As it stood then, that's the application order. We're not talking about the Constitution of India here.
Sibal, doesn't it, I'm just thinking aloud.
Yes.
Does it not mean that the proviso, the implication is that once the provisions of the Constitution of India are made applicable by different orders,
Yes.
you through an amendment cannot
That's all
deactivate
that
it.
we are saying. Nothing more.
Can deactivate a provision which has already been applied to
Yes,
the Constitution
that's all that we are saying.
of
Nothing more than that. We're not amending the Constitution of India. We're amending the constitutional order applicable to the state of Jammu and Kashmir, which makes 370 applicable. And it can't even be moved in the House. Yes. And if it can't be moved in the, it can't even move the bill. It can't be moved in parliament.
As I see it, it's that you can't go back. Suppose after consultation, the CO has been issued, order has been issued, notification has been issued, certain provisions of the constitution have been made applicable.
Yes.
Then it's not that a rethink can arise 10 years later and you start
That's all.
and say that, look, okay, we don't want to make some of the constitution provisions
Absolutely.
already made applicable,
Correct.
not applicable.
So my argument is that the Constituent Assembly has exercised its choice. And it's evident from the provisions of the Constitution itself. So you need to read the Constitution of India, the orders applicable to Jammu Kashmir, the Constitution of Jammu and Kashmir, and 370. So under what provision of law under the Constitution of India can you change that? When you are doing it under 370, 356. So now, Malaj, this is now the lay of the land as far as this is concerned. Now I want to take your lordships to the judgment of Supreme Court, Malaj, of this court in the power of the constituent Keshav Nand, Malaj. Volume. This is it? T. No, I don't. When I come here.
So, Kapil, is the factual whatever you had to say is over?
No, Maharaj, I'll go back because we are on the point of the Constituent Assembly and the Legislative Assembly. So Maharaj, that has to be clarified. Maharaj, a Legislative Assembly cannot be converted into a Constituent Assembly. My basic argument is that. Under what power can you convert a Legislative Assembly into a Constituent Assembly? Which is that power?
As a matter of fact, Praja Sabha was turned into a constituent assembly, 1951.
Well, there was a direct election, I believe, at that point in time. Praja Sabha was not all directly elected. But I'll check that out, but I don't want to make a statement and I'm sure of it. No, there was not. I mean, I don't want to give an answer without being sure of it.
Unless you are sure about it.
That's right. I always hesitate to do that. My learned friends are far more, articulate on those issues than I am.
Seized by the Raja in 2051. Just about by the power of Praja Sabha was conferred to the Constituent Assembly.
The power of Constituent Assembly was conferred on the Praja Sabha.
According to me, and I'll give that date, why should I say anything? The Constituent Assembly was directly elected in Jammu and Kashmir, but I don't want to, I must be sure of it before I say that. I know it says that Constituent Assembly consisting of representatives of the people elected on the basis of adult franchise shall be constituted forthwith for the purpose of framing a constitution. So I was aware of it, but I was not sure where it was. I just wanted to mention. Unlike us, we were indirectly elected, our Constituent Assembly. Anyway, Maharaj, kindly have a look at Keshav Bharati. This is volume 15. Volume 15 of
that's a good idea.
Case Law Compilation, PDF 236. Actually, 235. I'll start with paragraph 537. Volume 15, my lords. Volume 15, paragraph 537. Which is why I've been saying throughout my summations, this was a political act to achieve a certain political purpose, dehorse the provisions of the Constitution. Page, my lords, 235, paragraph 537.
We've got it on the screen as well.
Yeah.
Sorry, सर्च पे आसानी से जानो।